Announcing the commencement of the first purge.
I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags, and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Just remember all the good the purge does.
Good morning, everyone. It is August 17th, 2018. I'm Eric. How's everyone doing? Voltaire, he said, if you want to know who rules over you, ask who you're not allowed to criticize. And we can take that one step further and ask, who can do horrific shit and get away with it? You can add that to that, who rules over you. And then you'll get a pretty clear picture, right? So I have some articles that I've found. We're going to go over them and talk about the deal. Before I go into this, I'd like to thank my new subscribers, and I could use some thumbs up, some shares, and if I'm worthy of your spare dollars, my PayPal link is in the description box below. Let's do this. Alright. Report finds 100 priests in one city ran horrific pedophile ring as government looked the other way. Yep. And of course, they've been getting away with this for years. Which is why I opened with the Voltaire quote. As a scathing grand jury report reveals that hundreds of Catholic priests in the state of Pennsylvania sexually assaulted or abused young children, a portion focuses specifically on Pittsburgh, where nearly 100 priests are accused of running a pedophile ring where they helped each other prey on helpless children with no oversight. The report claims that at least 99 priests in the Pittsburgh diocese were involved in the pedophile ring, 9 of whom were not named, and they received help from local officials who refused to explore investigations into the abuse because it was considered bad publicity for the Catholic Church. You'll get a lot of arguments among people. Some people believe the Illuminati rule the world. Some people believe that the Jews, the Zionists, rule the world. Others believe the New World Order rules the world. I think maybe these groups are competing factions, but I'm not sure. But either way, no matter what, they're evil, right? And what do you do with evil? I mean, what's their intent towards us? So there was a jihadi training camp out west. And apparently, not only did they allow the suspect to go free, or suspects rather, but the authorities, air quotes, have been out there destroying the evidence. And this happened apparently in Taos, New Mexico. So they released 5 suspected terrorists accused of plotting school shootings and killing a toddler authorities raid their compound and destroy potential evidence. Adding to the already insane nature of 5 suspected terrorist child killers being released this week on Wednesday, after a judge granted them release, federal agents raided the compound once more and destroyed all the evidence by razing it to the ground. And I've been talking about these jihadi training camps here in the United States for about 4 or 5 years. Hasn't changed. It's probably gotten a lot worse in that time. And here's proof of that. As the Free Thought Project reported, the 5 accused child abuse suspects arrested last week for allegedly training children to carry out school shootings were released by a New Mexico judge despite a frightening evidence against them. Days later, their compound was mysteriously ransacked by the feds. And it's funny, these 5 guys are accused of killing a toddler, training these kids to carry out school shootings, among other things. And they get out of jail, while a guy gets busted with, well, I don't know, 5 grams of cocaine or heroin. They get the fucking book thrown at them. On a condition of their release, the defendants must adhere to 13 items required by the state, including posting a $20,000 appearance bond, wearing an ankle monitor, no contact with their children, and house arrest. The only problem is their house was a stolen RV, was just seized, and their compound demolished as part of a mysterious campaign by federal agents. So they're gonna fuck up all the evidence, and then these jihadis are gonna go free. And there's more. Lots more. Our prosperity is now dependent on predatory globalization. Here's the story explaining why free trade and globalization create so much wonderful prosperity for all of us. I find a nation with cheap labor and no environmental laws anxious to give me cheap land and tax credits, so I moved my factory from my high-cost, highly regulated nation to the low-cost, not regulated nation, and keep all the profits I reap from the move for myself. And that's exactly how it works. They create these agreements. These factories move out of the country, and the people who worked at these factories end up in poverty. They go from middle class to being poor as fuck. I should know, I'm one of those people. So apparently dozens of people overdosed on synthetic marijuana in New Haven. The Office of Emergency Management in New Haven, Connecticut has reported a mass casualty incident involving at least 71 people who have overdosed from synthetic marijuana, with 52 of them near a Connecticut City park, authorities said late Wednesday. The majority of the overdoses were located in the vicinity of the New Haven Green, a park near Yale University, throughout the day Wednesday, according to officials. Yeah. The real thing, there's no overdosing on it. You smoke too much, you get tired and fall asleep. But, you know, as long as these guys can keep cramming the prisons full of individuals who have been busted for weed, it's all good and dandy. Meanwhile, police after police after police do horrific crimes on the public, and they get away with it. 2015 United Nations paper proposed government license to supervise content online, and recent purge globalists are following long existing plans to censor the internet. In 2015, the Washington Post warned that the United Nations was attempting to transform the web from a libertarian free-for-all to some kind of enforced social commons. And there goes, the reason Alex Jones was taken off. TSA transit police use full body scanners to search and watch list commuters. It has been a year since I warned commuters that the TSA wanted to install full body biometric scanners at train stations. And I did too. And just like this year, the MSN interviewed one person that is fine with losing their rights. Last year, I warned commuters that full body scanners come equipped with watch list software. And if you're not on a watch list by now, then you're doing something terribly wrong. Excuse me. Here's one for you. A weed-killing carcinogen, glyphosate, found in children's foods. The known carcinogen and infamous weed killer chemical glyphosate has been found in breakfast foods marketed for children. A new study has discovered trace amounts of the most widely used herbicide in the country in oats, granolas, and snack bars. You might want to not give your kids that shit. We're running out of stuff to give our kids, aren't we? Before you know it, everything is going to be saturated in that shit. And so, that's just one website. Lockheed Martin awarded over $3 billion in government contracts in just 2 days as military frets about Russian and Chinese advances. The U.S. Air Force announced within the span of 2 days earlier this week that it had awarded over $3.3 billion in contracts to U.S. weapons giant Lockheed Martin. The first of these contracts, totaling $480 million, was announced on Monday and tasked Lockheed with designing new hypersonic missile. The new missile, known as the Air-Launched Rapid Response Weapon, is the second hypersonic missile under development at Lockheed, and the U.S. Air Force awarded a $928 million contract to the company this past April to develop the hypersonic conventional strike weapon. And so, Catholic priests abusing children. No surprise, right? Predatory globalism, and jihadi compounds in the continental United States. Shouldn't be a surprise either. And people think government is there for some kind of protection. If that were true, then wouldn't these priests Wouldn't they be locked up? Wouldn't they have been charged all those years ago before they had a huge list of victims? Wouldn't they have been arrested? But no, that's not what happened, is it? They looked the other way because they didn't want to give the Catholic Church any bad publicity. And they just kept letting them get away with it, victim after victim after victim, and that's what government does. They turn the other way while you're being fucked. That's what gun control laws are about. Take the ability of you to have a weapon, so some asshole who didn't go through the legal, air quotes, channels to get their gun, they got it off the black market, they can come and kick in your door and rob you, and chances are they're not going to get caught. So that's what the government does. They claim to protect you while at the same time they ignore everything that is wrong, that preys on the citizen. And that's why I tell you to kill the state before the state kills you.